So the brand new update, Tycoon has just added in the SU-47 Berkut, and then a big question which a lot of people are actually asking, is this thing truly worth its 1,500 Robux worth of price? Well, in this video we're actually going to be finding that out. But right off the bat, I really want to say that this thing is basically just a jack of all trades and a master of none. But anyway, its starter statistics are going to be 280 speed and health of 850. When you max it out, it's going to be having a speed of 364 and a health of 1,105. But by the way, I am also hosting a giveaway for this vehicle as we speak, so make sure to join my Discord server, the link is in the description. So firstly, we are going to be taking a look at its damage against the F-35 with its air missiles. So firstly, I'm going to be firing one missile and one shot will be doing exactly 30%, meaning that on average you're probably going to need exactly 4 missiles to kill the F-35, which to me just seems like the average stats for most of our planes. Keep in mind that both of these vehicles are also maxed out for the sake of this test. Now next up, the air missile damage against the Super Hind is going to be around 26% per hit, which in my opinion is once again just simply going to be the average, and it's going to be taking around 4 missiles to actually be able to kill the Super Hind, so nothing special here again. Now lastly, taking a look at the damage that these missiles will also be able to do against ground vehicles. So for example, against the Abrams X, it's only really going to be doing 7% per hit, and if you do manage to also fire it against the Lavad, it's going to be able to take down around 15% on average, which once again isn't too much either. Now in terms of this vehicle's anti-tank capabilities, the anti-ground missiles will be able to do around 25%, which once again is just simply going to be the average amount of damage. Now if we go ahead and also test this against the Lavad, as you guys can clearly see, this vehicle will not be the most powerful in terms of being able to deal with ground vehicles either. So once again, like I said, just jack of all trades but master of none. Now moving into this vehicle's guided bombs, and the damages that it basically uses for it is simply just going to be a copied stat from the A10 Warthog as far as I know, and it's only going to be able to do around 25 to 26% per hit. However, the issue is you only have 2 of these guided bombs, so on average you're going to be doing around 50% to the Abrams X after firing both. However, if we take a look at its damage against the Lavad, it's also not going to be top notch. 2 of these bombs, most of the time from what I understand, will probably not be enough. However, once again, this vehicle does just have a lot of numbers, but the damages on their own don't really stand out. And now lastly, moving into the Napalm bombs, and in my opinion, these are actually pretty interesting and they do have their own unique gimmick, because as you guys can see, once my friend dropped it on my Abrams X, I am slowly dying over time. However, keep in mind, you're probably gonna want to drive out of the Napalm if you don't want to end up dying. But if you don't end up doing so, well, your Abrams X is simply gonna get to a very low amount of health. However, one Napalm will probably not be able to kill it, but keep in mind, you do have 2 of them, and the exact same results can also be replicated against the Lavad, which in my opinion is just pretty all-rounder decent. I do have to say, the area of effect of these bombs is also pretty good. And now moving into the damage of this cannon, and this cannon I would say is probably slightly above average. It seems to have a similar damage to something like the SU-57 and an F-22 Raptor, so one hit will be able to do around 2%. However, if you do manage to just get a full burst on the enemy, you're probably going to be able to shred them after around 2 bursts. But the overall DPS, the fire rate, and the damage of its own, I do think is really good on this thing. However, there is one major issue with this vehicle. A lot of people expected this to be a agile and dogfighting monster. Well, it really isn't going to be, unfortunately, because right here, as you guys can see, I'm just dogfighting against or just going in a circle around it, and unfortunately enough, this thing will not be able to outturn the F-22. The F-22 can easily actually get in a good angle to actually kill you. However, another vehicle which also does have really good turning speed, which is more on the mid side rather than the insane side like the F-22, the Dassault Raphael, it will also not be able to outturn it, and the Dassault can actually kind of comfortably destroy it in a dogfight. So in terms of just being able to be a good air-to-air vehicle, this thing is probably not gonna be the best, to be honest. But anyway, for the time being, that's basically going to be all I have for you guys in today's video. Do let me know in the comment section down below what you think about this brand new vehicle. Personally, I'm really happy with the fact that it's not pay to win, and they made it quote-unquote pay to play, pay to access. Just like in War Thunder, you're not actually paying to destroy the enemies, you're just paying for some extra content. So I think this is a good direction to go, War Tycoon. I'm actually really happy with this.